For the last 3 weeks, the litigation against Deshaun Watson has largely played out, Peter, in the court of public opinion. It goes to a court of law today. And Rusty Hardin, who represents Watson, has been telegraphing this for weeks now. The idea that there will be some sort of a challenge to these 22 lawsuits based upon the fact that 20 of them continue to proceed with the Jane Doe pseudonym. Emergency hearing today aimed at forcing the 20 who have not attached their names to their lawsuits to do so. Now, there are other ways to raise that issue. Those other ways would take more time. I firmly believe that Hardin has embarked on this strategy to try to get Tony Buzbee, who represents all 22 of the individuals, to come to the table and try to get all cases resolved sooner rather than later so Deshaun Watson can be traded, can have some certainty, can clear this problem off of his docket. And I need to say this. Anytime I mention the possibility of settlement, I'm not saying make it go away quickly and easily. I'm saying finding a way to take your reckoning, to make things right. But I think there's value in making it happen sooner than later if Watson is ready to do that. But at the same time, I think they're having a hard time getting Tony Buzbee to the table. What's happening in court today, I believe, is a device to force Buzbee to the table to the extent that any of these 20 women just say, we don't want our names to come out under any circumstances.
Here's the issue that I see now, Mike, is, it's April. And as I try to figure out and I try to think about, what will happen by September, you would know a lot better than I would. But the one thing I keep thinking is, look at all of, and again, I don't mean to just transition to football immediately, okay? But as we proceed through the offseason, look at how many doors are being closed on the Texans general manager, Nick Caserio, and on Deshaun Watson. Look at all the teams that have already solved their quarterback dilemma, let's say, for the year, okay? And now look at what might be available if say, all of this is solved, maybe if he gets some sort of suspension from the NFL, but if at some point in 2021 he's able to play football. I mean, where's he going to go? What owner wants to take on the onus of Deshaun Watson in this Me Too society? So I think there's still a lot of questions that, regardless of what happens to him legally in the next 3 or 4 months, what will happen to Deshaun Watson in a gridiron sense in 2021 is a gigantic mystery.
But, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers brought in Antonio Brown, even though there's a pending lawsuit against him in Florida for sexual assault and rape. Now, it's one victim, not 22, and I think the sheer magnitude changes things for Deshaun Watson. At least 2 of the individuals who have sued him have spoken to police, and there is a possibility of criminal charges being filed. But if he can find a way, and again, to do it the right way, to properly have his reckoning, to properly compensate and make these individuals believe that they've had their day in court, that they've had some form of justice that is acceptable to them under the circumstances, especially if 20 of them can avoid attaching their names to these lawsuits as part of this process. To the extent that that could be done sooner than later, and that they agree as part of it that it's over, that it's finished, that they're not going to talk about it publicly. As a practical matter, they wouldn't be able to cooperate with the NFL because the NFL has no subpoena power over these individuals once they've agreed not to talk about it to anyone, which is a legitimate way of resolving situations like this. That is what lays the foundation for Deshaun Watson to get this behind him in 2021, whatever that means by way of an NFL suspension. And we don't know what the NFL will do. Peter, Ben Roethlisberger was suspended 6 games, reduced to 4 in 2010 with 2 incidents, one of which resulted in a lawsuit. The other resulted in nothing. Now, I still believe that there was some sort of a resolution that was made between Roethlisberger and the alleged victim, but there was no prosecution. There was no lawsuit arising from the incident in Milledgeville, Georgia. 2 incidents. And Ben Roethlisberger was suspended ultimately 4 games. 22 incidents now. plus this pattern of behavior that suggests that something's not right, the NFL could easily suspend him multiple games, could suspend him justifiably for the full season by the time it's all said and done. But you don't even get to the point where the NFL is taking up what to do until these cases are resolved. You could otherwise have a situation where 1 or 2 seasons are lost to the commissioner exempt list. And then after that, the NFL passes its judgment. So there is value in getting these cases resolved now. I believe, I don't know, but I believe Watson would like to do it. And I think Tony Buzbee, as he represents his clients, understands that there's value in being coy. There's value in being unpredictable, because that could drive the price up. And that's how you measure justice in the civil justice system, how much one side pays to the other. And I think today's hearing is aimed at forcing Buzbee to the table, because they would like to get this cleared away from a legal standpoint as soon as possible, and maybe before the draft. And maybe there is a team out there. Maybe there is. If all these cases would be over and resolved to the satisfaction of the 22 women involved, and it's done, and that's it, maybe there is a team that would make that trade, knowing there's a strong possibility there'll be a suspension to be served in 2021, Peter.
And then you ask the question, okay, could it be a team that already has made strides with another quarterback? Could it be the Carolina Panthers? And could they, and I don't know whether they have told Sam Darnold directly that we're exercising your option for 2022. I don't know whether they have or not. It seems like they will. But what would happen if Deshaun Watson suddenly became available? Would the Panthers then basically kind of say, hey, sorry, Sam Darnold, this is the cost of doing business? You know, would the Miami Dolphins get involved? I don't think so, but who knows? So there's all of these questions that we don't really know until we have some idea of what Deshaun Watson's status is for 2021. And we're not going to know that until, the legal wrangling plays out.
One last quick point, and we made this earlier in the week, and I just want to reemphasize it here. To the extent that Deshaun Watson continues to follow a strategy that entails hunkering down and fighting, that is the thing that could keep him out of football for multiple years and potentially derail his career entirely. If he's ready to understand that something happened that shouldn't have happened, he needs to find a way to make it right. He puts it behind him. That's when he sets himself up for his redemption. That's what Mike Vick did. Mike Vick finally abandoned the fight in 2007, served his time, came back to the NFL. But you have to have that moment where you pivot away from fight, deny, and accept the fact that you have to acknowledge that something happened. You need to make it right. That's how you lay the foundation for your return to the NFL, whenever that may be.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.